Israel Adesanya's ex-girlfriend is taking him to court for half of his wealth, and the crazy thing is, she may have a chance at getting it. This is Israel Adesanya. He's one of the most popular UFC fighters in the entire world. This is his ex-girlfriend after one of his championship fights. I believe they were together for a few years, maybe 5, but they broke up in 2021. The relationship ended quietly, but thanks to some Instagram stories from Israel Adesanya recently, it appears there is some situation going on between them. And now comes the report that UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya's ex-girlfriend takes him to court for half of his wealth because they dated too long and she supported his career. Now you may be thinking that's insane. They only dated. They were not married. There was no contract signed. However, in New Zealand, relationships that last over 3 years are covered by law. And as you can see, we're at home, family, separation, divorce, divide, relationship, property. Relationships covered by law. Different rules apply for dividing up property depending on whether you've been married or in a civil union for less than 3 years or more than 3 years. In New Zealand, there is a law covering de facto relationships. In most cases, only people who have lived together in a de facto relationship for at least 3 years are covered. Now, I thought we had some pretty crazy laws in America, but this is straight up insanity from New Zealand. Imagine this law in America. Brad and Brianna date for 4 years at the University of Alabama, but at the last Alpha Phi formal, Brad goes with Jenna, and Jenna's a hot blonde, and then Brianna takes Brad to court for all of his father's wealth, and then Brianna's now what is this law? That isn't 3 Come to America, Israel Adesanya. We'll welcome you with open arms.
We live in a society that has old world order laws for a brave new world. And as you can see, this woman is trying to take advantage of the laws. Now, she actually has a high likelihood to get access to this man's wealth, actually half of his wealth, because she has dated him for multiple years. And she allegedly provided him with love, support, attention, as though these are not things that people that are in relationships with one another are supposed to bring anyways. Now, let this be a lesson, regardless of the outcome, that you should always be on the lookout for resentful behavior from your partner. Now, I know this is more easily said than done, but you should do it nonetheless. We are all hoping that Izzy's going to come out on top. But once again, regardless of the outcome, keep this in mind. City boys, may we end up on top.
This person just came into the bar and said, "Hey, what are your pronouns? You kind of look like a they, them." And I hated that they were right.
What you want? What you want? Say wrong pronoun bad. Say correct pronoun bad. What? What you want? You come for baby.
Just get this straight. In the last few years, a biological male has been named Woman of the Year on several magazine covers. A biological male is referenced as a top-ranking female in our White House. A biological male was named the NCAA Women's Swimmer of the Year. A biological male is making tens of thousands of dollars being the face of womanhood for Nike, for Tampax, for Bud Light, for Kate Spade, and countless other companies. A biological male took home the award for Best Actress at the Golden Globes. Are we really still trying to make the case that feminism supports women when the feminists are completely silent and or cheering on biological men taking over the space of women? Somebody spell this out for me.
Tired of straight white men having the power and everything, you know, and it's like we as women of color, as like students at this university, like we're very much capable of certain things, and we don't have the same privileges that are offered to straight white men.
And I've been hearing that from a lot of the ladies that I've been talking to today. Talk to me about what some of those privileges are that, you know, straight white men have that you don't have. Talk to me about that.
I think I don't really know. Have you ever experienced like a specific instance?
No, but I also need to go.
I know, I do need to go. I'm sorry.
I've been saying it on and on and on. Universities turn women into feminists by making them adopt ways of thinking and opinions that they have not come up with themselves, right? They're just be basically regurgitating something they've either read in a book or had or heard from their teacher. Because the new thing is to be a victim, go out into the world and act as though there are rights in 2023 afforded to men that women do not have. She's talking about white privilege. Lady, you're in a first world country, almost the most advanced country in the world, and there is no right that you don't have, but yet you claim that you want some type of special treatment or reparation because you were a woman of color or a woman and you're somehow a victim of white men. That's not true. That people don't want to take accountability for the fact that there's part of the outcome that rests on their shoulders, because as much as we have different incentives, right? So part of it is going to be up to you to make shit happen, because as much as we want the world to be equal, the world will never truly be equal. So the harder you work, the better off you'll be. But you cannot go out and ask for special treatment based on your gender because historically you were discriminated against if it is no longer the case. So take accountability, take responsibility. The sooner you do it, the better off you will be.
I would argue that if an older woman had told this younger lady or any younger lady that this is how boys see you, if you do that, you would act differently if someone had told you that. I think men do a much better job of checking each other because men see themselves in younger men. Women see themselves as younger women. So a man...
Bars. You better teach.
We live in a society that pushes the forever young concept and image to women so much that you'll have women in their late teens all the way up till they are 30, 40, and 50, all competing in the same dating pool because they want to get the same men, right? And so what happens, and the reason why the older women don't help the younger ones is because if I help them, they're taken away from my plate, from my potential mates. And I don't want to do that. And we have to realize that dating is a momentary thing in your life. It's not supposed to be forever. The sooner you get done with that, then you can move on to the next step and help the ones that are coming behind you, because them doing better ultimately will help me because we live in a collective, right? So the sooner we get through with that and get that out of our minds, the better we will all be off.